Yo, what's up guys? Pretty much the end of day one for me. I reached to level 16. Could have been a little bit higher, did waste a little bit of stability here and there. Could have also been higher if I was using those over here. But I'm actually not using those because at some point you will be having a chance for double EXP. It's like a special event that it's not there yet, but I think it comes there after like 6 or 7 days or something like that. And you do get double in a few places. You get, there's like 1 day where you will get double for modules, 1 day double for investigation, and 1 day double for GP outpost. So that's pretty much the day that you do want to be using those in, rather than using it all together right now. If you want to go super try it on that day, you could go a few minutes before day reset, buy everything of that, use all of that in the double, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna go that try hard, but that's definitely an option for there. So let's first talk about what is my overall progression, and I did rerolling. How did that go, and what did it end up with? So I did 19 accounts on rerolling, which took me 4 freaking ever. I legit do like 6-7 hours of rerolling, and then at some point it's like, yo, I got on the 19th account, I got Lily. I was aiming for a Lily plus a Heinrich account. I pulled one other Heinrich account and was like at some point, okay, I have the Lily and I had a biotin on that. But I pulled the Lily from legit the first 5 pulls. So therefore, I didn't go hard on using crystals towards the summons itself. And during the summons, I was also doing the one where you have in the shop over here. The one which the exchange was exchange, no crystal trade, no weekly packs. Yeah, I didn't do those two. Well, this is actually a good buy. I will still do this because that's just cheaper than buying normal things. So I will definitely still get that one for now. Later on, I probably won't use as much crystals for summons, but I will use it more towards refreshes all the time. I would say that this one is highly a scam because you can pull LDs from normal banner as well. Sure, if you really want to focus LDs, then that's definitely an option. Besides that, I've been pulling a good amount of units, not in this pool, however. But I've been getting a whole bunch of SSR since I pulled the Rerolling, which is really great. I had a bunch of Sanyas. She's actually already on a few duplicates. Weirdly enough, I also pulled a Lily dupe pretty soon after the moment that I had my first Lily, so that's not really that helpful. I got the Marvel, which is of course really great. Romocha, absolutely great unit. Close I've been using, so therefore I've been trashing my gray. You have a close, you don't need a gray anymore. I do have this one, the Coloros, or whatever his name is. I got a Biotin and I got Mia, so definitely a whole bunch of SSRs, which is really good. Units that I'm going to be focusing on first. Well, actually, yeah, let's talk about that right away. Which units am I focusing on first? Leon, you will have to focus for the hyperlink charter that's over here. And I think you have to do that until the expert training 3. And after that, they don't ask you to do specific things on Leon anymore. That's where you could do a reset on the Leon. That's going to be at the point where you have this event over here. You have like 5 days to reconfigure any of your units, or 6 days even. Is an option, but you still probably do want a fire damage dealer somewhat later down the line, so you probably want to make it back to like a 5-star level 45 or something like that, but kind of depends on you. But you have to put a lot of the Latices in there, and you definitely do want to remove those from Leon because she's not worth those. Even if you 6-star her again, you still want to be removing those to put those towards a unit that you actually do want to focus on. And then, of course, I'm focusing on the Rerolling, really great damage dealer for Doki Doki. I do also have the Romocha, but since I have the Rerolling, I'd rather focus on him because I feel like he's better for PvP. I'm, of course, focusing on Marvel. That's also the one character that I focus on for the Prawness to get this in. I actually did use a lot of these packages that you get early on for just getting extra of these materials. Because I do want to get his skill to the lower cooldown. Or wait, is it the lower cooldown on this one? Oh wait, it doesn't lower on cooldown, but the turn meter goes down to more, which I think is incredibly strong for him. It goes down from like 40 to 50, which really strong right there. Skill 1 is definitely nice as well for the turn meter steal on the 15 towards the 40. 40 becomes an 80 with max skill, so that compared to a 10 is absolutely strong. I probably will go for that as well because he's just incredibly good early game for at least the first few weeks where he's going to be the main contested unit. Because if he just outspeeds someone, he just kills someone. It's just incredibly strong. So I will be focusing on that unit for sure. Close is going to be focused on. Grape, I'm not focusing on anymore, and that is pretty much my team. So I can't go into any of the dungeons right now because I don't have any stability, but I can show you the dungeon or like my teams in here. So if we just enter this one real quick, I can show you what kind of teams that I'm doing. So this is a team of 5, right? Yep. So I'm mainly using a team like this. For Terramaton, I'm actually using this team. Besides that, it's mainly like a combination, like any of those 4 units or this. I don't really have an attack buffer in this team, but I'm kind of fine with that as well. If I want to get an attack buffer in at some point, I would probably be running something like this. If I decide not to go for an healer, if I decide to go for an healer, then it is probably either this or I remove you for an attack buffer. And your attack buffer in that case, for a lot of people, would be a Shiaki the Echo rather than this. I did also pick up the Victor, which is really strong pair with the Lily for later. That's definitely a nice one too. So these are the units that I'm focusing on. For day 1, max progression that you could have done is pretty much as far as I am right now. You could maybe be a little bit further depending if you use all of these stability items in here. Then you can definitely be a fair bit further because you get 400. You get a few extra levels up and that kind of stuff. But for now, I'm sitting at the Hyperlink Charter where I still have to do the Termaton Heart 3. I can already clear that, I just still have to do more. These I can't do yet because I need level 18. This one, I probably cannot do a Nightmare, 1 Doki Doki, Termaton, 1 Nightmare, probably not as well. And this I have to be level 20. So those are a few things that are still out there that I have to do. Tip for the Hyperlink Charter, if you see like equip 3 Animuses fully with modules, it might be one of those things like, oh shit, I have to get like full on things. Well, in this case, they can be level 1, so it's easier, but at some point they ask for level 12s. Well, what you can do is I made this whole set over here. If you click on this thing over here, you save the plan, you give it the greatest name alive, and then you keep it like that. Does it have to be on? No, it can be on anything. Sometimes they ask for SSRs or anything. But then we go to any other unit, you go to the module, you go over here, you load that thing in, and you check over here. Now we have 2 units done. Ta-da! But your previous unit doesn't actually have the shits right now. Not an issue. You go to the next unit. You put this one in. You go this one. You equip it. Yes, thank you very much. Ta-da! Done. So that can be very easy if you need to do multiple with like plus 12s or plus 9s, which gets a little bit more expensive because you don't want to be wasting that resource or like those resources all too much. And it just makes your life a lot easier than putting those things on multiple times. So that's definitely a nice tip right there. Also, a question maybe people have is like, okay, how much should you use for your modules? I plus 12 all of this because it was asked by me to do. Otherwise, plus 6s or plus 9s is what you're mainly aiming for. Shells, however, you can do a little bit higher, and that is also the thing. What if you're just leveling? What should you be leveling, or how to get account level faster? Well, every 1 stability you use is 1 EXP towards your account level. So it's legit a 1-to-1 trade. Wherever you use it, doesn't matter at all. But then the question, where should you use it if you already did everything in the Hyperlink Charter, which you're mainly following? Well, then you can throw everything in the Shell Dungeon on the hardest stage that you can do. I think that's the main recommendation that a lot of people give, and I think it's the strongest as well. Because you need a lot of training data at a later moment. This is gonna go down at a real fast pace. But also the Shells is where you can get most of the stats increase. Because if you check the stats over here, the Shell's just giving you straight up 20 extra speed. That is a lot of speed. You're not gonna get that speed anywhere else from... Like, sure, you have the... where is it? You have this one, 35% speed increase. Yeah, that's a decent amount, but the shell is really helping towards that the most, actually. So having good shells definitely helps out. And therefore, just putting more resources towards your shells early on to just max them out on level 30s and shit, definitely good. What kind of shells might you ask to be using for? Well, just kind of read what they do in the shell description over here. If it's like a damage boost, then you probably throw it on a damage dealer. If it's an attack up, you throw it on a damage dealer. If it's a debuff, then you can throw it on like whatever. And you also have some that's like, oh, this actually gives extra healing. Nice for those kind of units. You also have some that give extra turn meter for the cyclists. That you give those to. So it's kind of reading where the most useful one does come out and what makes most sense. Also, if you make your shell to the highest grade it can be and you throw in multiple shells more times, you awaken it and therefore you get the extra stats. So then you can see this one is a 40%, whereas this one is just a 30%. And that is because of the awakening. So what you do with it, if you want to do more, just add in more. And because you're farming a lot of shells, you do have the material to do all of this because you have the training data. And shells are way better than modules in the first place. That's definitely a high recommendation. Shells over modules. Then I definitely did not really follow these things, what I'm doing for, but the thing that I did miss is join a guild. If you haven't yet, definitely join a guild, because joining a guild gives you the check-in rewards, and the check-in rewards are just incredibly good. If you haven't found a guild yet to join, and the menu in here to join a guild is kind of annoying, best part is just to right here in the chat just say, like, yo, I want to join a guild. You probably get invited because everyone wants to get to the max amount of people in their guild, and it just helps out a lot as well. Then one of the final things that I haven't mentioned yet is arena refreshes. You can go into arena, you can buy a bunch of nice things from the arena shop, so it's definitely recommended to try to get like the perfect lattices, I would mainly say. But it will take you a little bit of time to get here, and you can do refreshes. You can do a 300 crystal refresh for 10 extra of those. I would say that it is recommended to do if you are planning to spend a bit on the game and therefore you have more crystal output. Then it's recommended to do, otherwise not really. Tip on this as well, if there is a name with the dot in the middle, it's most likely a bot and therefore it has really shitty stats. If it has like a full name, then it's probably not a bot. This could also be a bot, but it could also be people that are trolling that therefore want to look like bots and that kind of stuff. But most of the time, the people with a dot in the middle are a bot and they're like super slow on the whole team. So it's a pretty easy clear right there. And that's most likely worth more than trying to fight someone that's actually more difficult. And put up a decent defense that might actually take you a few victories as well. That's definitely something that does help out. And I think with that, it's pretty much everything that I have for this video thus far. I made a 13-hour stream. Tomorrow, we'll be streaming again. During the editing of this video, I will be doing a little bit more of the AnySync Echo. Also, make sure to do your cubic game on the first days and all of like these kind of things on the first days. If you have any questions about that, let me know in the comments. Otherwise, ask me on the stream tomorrow. Going to be live both on the YouTube channel once again and on the Twitch channel. If you haven't seen me there yet, follow me there. I can do another one of this, which I definitely will throw in, I think at a... I think I have to do another Terramaton, don't I? Yes, sir, I have to do another Terramaton, auto dungeon, and so I can do some of this, and then autoing on the AnySync Echo while editing this video, and that's going to be day for me, which was a very long day with a lot of... Well, it's actually the day itself was not crazy long for playing the game. The day was crazy long for the rerolling. That part was just incredibly crazy long. So that part don't have to do tomorrow. So hopefully tomorrow a little bit of a shorter stream, but I will still do a decent long stream on that. Did I have all of the points that I want to do? Our best SR to focus on. I didn't talk about that part yet. Best SRs to focus on is absolutely Sanya. Marvel are absolutely great. You have a few damage dealers that are good, such as Victor, but they come a little bit days later. I would say Siaki the Echo is definitely one of those that you can focus on early, and Kraken. I would say that those are pretty much the main ones that you would want to be focusing on early. The others can kind of come later. If you don't have a Sanya, I would go for Valerian because she's way better healer than your Dorothy shits that you have at the start, because Dorothy is freaking ass. That's just the main thing. So yep, how valuable are the passes? It kind of depends how much you want to spend in the game. We can actually take a quick look at... I did buy a few things here and there. Main thing that I would say is this one is pretty high value because you get the extra coins, which is just super high value. Anything else is kind of just depending on like, yo, how much do you actually want to spend in the game or not? That's just the main thing. Also, what is mostly the highest value is also where these things do show is like, hey, this is... Oh, I should actually get this one. Like 2000% value for like a €1. Then it's like, okay, that's actually pretty legit value. So that's kind of the thing that you could be looking at. Like, hey, that makes sense to buy or not. So those are the things. I talked it long enough, 40 minutes on the video. Guys, thanks a lot for watching. If you haven't yet, please subscribe and follow this channel. And, well, subscribing is following this. Man, 13 hours of streaming doesn't really help the brain to be not brain rot and that kind of stuff. Yeah, well, this is it for me, guys. Like and subscribe if you haven't yet, and see y'all tomorrow. Thanks for watching. If you would like to see more guides, join the Discord and check out the content tab for the guide video archive, which contains all of the guides that you might need. Hope to see you there.